Do it again. Make sure the tool's on there.
Hey, Brian.
Yes, sir.
You want to do this? Oh, look, my computer's wrapped up with the my phone now. Will you bring a beverage of some kind?
Yeah, would you like a
Okay, why not? I've been bad all week.
Okay, it's a 17 and a half. That's totally fine. 18 and a half. That's totally fine.
Do I want to do this as in get up there? And,
Yeah, you ready to roll?
sure.
You ready to make some moves? You ready to be a man among men? Brian?
I am what I am.
God bless you, sir.
It would be probably 20,
How are y'all doing?
So that's ridiculous.
What on earth? You know, gets that tequila in him and he.
That's it, man.
Hi, Doc. Happy Friday to you too, man. Woo! I think you got more on the floor than you got in your mouth, hombre.
How's my butt on camera?
It looks great. There's 16 people waiting to see what you're up to. But you know what? Let's give it. We can just kind of chit chat for a little while.
Hi, boys and girls.
Yeah, right. We can do that. So just like every time there's a workshop, and this is, I'm not saying go faster, but I'm saying that every time there's a workshop, there's a little bit of a time crunch at like 4 o'clock on Friday. And that's fine. It's just what it is.
Yeah.
You know,
And regardless of how well you're doing up till that point, all of a sudden it's like,
yeah, it's like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of stuff that you still have to do. And,
Right.
and time gets a lot less elastic
right.
during that,
It was a good week though.
during that area.
It's
Yeah.
a good week. And today was, well, you know, the end. You guys that have been here know the end of the weeks. These things are, the last day is always the toughest day.
So, Brian, did you know that among other people, Zed, Lefty, Doc, Sir David Dangerous, Dan, Mike Beckloff, Butch Landry, and some other folks are here too. I'm gonna look for more names.
Ben said he's gonna-
Terry is here. Doug
Hey,
Seidlitz
guys.
is here. If I haven't read your name yet, it's because I haven't seen it yet, or I breezed past it. If you're here and you're in the chat section, chime in. Chris Hendricks is here. How are you guys doing tonight? We have some cool guitars to show off today, but let's talk a little bit about okay, why is it, do you think, Brian, Sean is here. Why do you think that the PRS workshop is so much, like the guitars are really next level kind of things? Not that the other guitars in the other classes aren't, because the guys who were out here last month really did set the bar very high.
The Fenders, yeah, they were cool.
But the PRS ones always turn out great.
You know, I think the PRS in itself is a really cool guitar. To me, it's like right up there with the Les Paul. And
Yeah.
you and I are kind of simpatico that way. Gibson and PRS are cool guitars. And since everybody's making the same thing, it's really about the accoutrement, right? The paint and the
you get to
hardware.
decide, and
Yeah. But they're every PRS that's come out of the shop is super cool.
Plus, I think that PRS guitars in general are a little more, they're steeped in tradition, but they don't have 70 years worth of it.
Right.
So, like, for example, when people come out and build a Telly, they, generally speaking, like Joel didn't do this because he wanted something that was a little more modern, but a lot of guys will do, like a fairly classic traditional stuff.
Yeah.
Paul Reed Smith style guitars are, I'm not gonna say that they're edgy, but they're a little edgier than a Telly or a Les Paul. So guys get it's a little more leeway there. But man, I tell you what, the PRS workshop is a lot of fun. This one was very small, and Chris really took the reins on this one. I didn't do anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't say.
I
Yeah, I know you showed up late and you fucked around.
I came in late and I kind of goofed around. I left early and yeah. So anyway, let's see what's going on. So guys, if you want to come out and build your own Paul Reed Smith style guitar, we'll do this workshop again. But if we don't get,
yeah,
but we're not going to
about that.
Let's talk about it. Yeah.
So one guy signed up for the
Mhm.
shop, and the reason I did it was Chris asked me that when
Mhm.
you guys were on the road, if
Yeah.
I would come do it, and I was like, yeah, I mean, why not? This is a cool thing to do, and I've already built one, but it was to me one of the coolest classes, and that's why I wanted to do it again. So we were kind of talking, and is the reason that we only had one guy in here, is it because of the time of year or something like that? I just don't understand it. I guess put it out to those guys what they
What do you guys think? Here's the thing, the guitars always turn out excellent.
Mhm.
This is a really fun workshop. You walk out with a really neat guitar, and everything's included except the pickups.
Mhm.
But here's the thing, if people don't want to do this one anymore, I'll understand.
Sure.
But we'll just stop doing it.
Yeah, there's no sense in putting it on if
Yeah,
nobody's
yeah.
gonna show up.
Yeah. So that's okay. So we'll come up with some other new thing. But man, I tell you what, these guitars look like $100 million. So Dan says March break, maybe. Yeah, it could be.
Tax the money isn't in yet, so I don't know.
Could be, yeah. But we try to make this like as easy to do as possible. So if you want to like pay it off over time, there's no problem. We can do that.
Right.
Call me up and I'll make you an invoice and you can pay it off as you go. You can pay with a firm, right, Joy? Yep. So you can do that, and that you can
breaks it down a little bit.
So like if you're like last minute and you're like, I really want to do it, but I don't have the money and I don't have the time to pay it off over like 6 months or a year even, use a firm. Yeah. Put it on that and use a firm's money for a little bit.
Right.
Chris says, honestly, I couldn't get the time off. March and April are full of trade shows for me. Well, yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Hi, Steve. How you doing? Hi, Victor. Aloha to you, my friend. Yeah. So, and it could just be that, well, we've maxed out the number of people who want to build PRS style guitars, and that's fine too.
Could be.
It is very likely that, in May, we have a back-to-back neck through SG workshops. And it probably after that one, they'll just be gone. I think we're going to max out, when you get a dozen people go through that. I think
maybe, yeah.
So, but I don't know.
Although that might be the coolest class ever.
It's pretty neat. Yeah, it's a pretty cool one. So Chris and I normally build guitars with the rest of the guys. And come on now, we got to make all this.
There we go. That's good.
Yeah. No, now we're not in the center of the thing.
Now
so
we are.
Yeah, just get in the. Okay.
You gotta come this way.
So stop farting around. So the I derailed. Okay. Well, Chris, you talk for a little bit.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Texas Toast Guitars PRS class. You were talking about the maxing out on the SG class.
Yeah, I think that is very likely that after this year, that will be the last neck through SG. I don't think anyone's going to want to do it. Well, the first and second, and then last. Yeah.
Yeah, first and last.
Mm-hmm. The first
one
and
after
last.
the other. Yeah. So great week, super fun. As it turns out, was not a bad thing. Only having two guys take the class.
Yeah,
because you weren't here for a day and a half early on.
I wasn't here for basically 2 days, and then
I couldn't keep up with Paul.
I know he's fast.
Luckily, I
speedy,
pretty much exude excellence, and so
I think that's what everyone's thinking.
Yeah, it went okay. I actually told these guys, I'm like, this is usually stuff Matt does. I know all the steps, but we're going to go a little slower because we can.
It worked out great. You guys did a good job.
We're gonna baby step into this, and we did. So
I was saying that, Chris, normally you and I build a guitar along with the guys in the workshop, and we did, but we didn't start with one and finish with that same one. We
You're
worked
correct.
on a couple challengers.
Yeah, I think if you and I both were here, we would have.
We might have, yeah.
We might have finished those 2 guitars. We may not have, but
Mm.
we would have done something similar.
I'm not going to say why, but we wouldn't have. As soon as
yeah.
I saw them, I'm like, we need to
Yeah, you're
wait
right.
and get some
You're
other
right.
stuff for
But
these.
we could have substituted something else in at that point, at a point, and done more.
So we I came in on Tuesday, shipped the guitar to Maryland
Mm-hmm.
to Matt, and he got the last Challenger Deluxe.
Right.
And there may never be another one ever again. I don't know.
There are things in the works.
But as of right now, there's if I wanted to make one tomorrow, actually I could make one.
Yeah.
But that'd be the last one.
Yeah.
So that guitar might never actually ever be made ever again. So Matt got very possibly the last one.
Yeah.
So we worked on some Challenger stuff early in the week. You did some pour fill on. There's an icon or two that you did pour fill on. After we stopped working on Challengers, I worked on some SG stuff for customers,
Mm-hmm.
and then including the custom 3 pickup one in between the two of you guys. Can you point to it? Yeah, look at that. What do you guys think of that one there? The super cool custom 3 pick. I don't know how we switch pickups on that one. I don't know how Gibson does it.
We'll figure it out.
Maybe one of those. Did Noah leave one of those like
He did leave
freeway
one of those
switches?
Yeah, that freeway switch. Yeah. Uh-huh. And I know you can do it with that.
Yeah, that would be an
You
easy
can
one.
put a
To do.
toggle switch in there too for that pickup.
Yeah,
So-
or macro switch.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
So then today I finished up this guy. This guy is wildly fun, and it's Brian's new favorite.
It's actually, I'm very surprised. Look at the size of that thing. It just takes me out of the picture.
This is an OM size guitar, and this body has been here for at least 3 years. Wouldn't you say, Chris?
Yeah.
This was probably one of the first Icon bodies before the Icon was the Icon.
But this is bent sides.
It's
right?
bent sides
We
and
did some. Yeah. There's
yeah.
This thing is about as acoustic as we've ever made a
Mhm.
guitar.
Yeah.
It's got a soundboard. It's actually got a cedar top, but it didn't have F holes, and it was routed for a P90. And I didn't know what kind of bridge we were going to use. And then Chris said, "I've got this floating bridge. Let's use that." So we put that, and this bridge is floating. It's not pinned in, and this thing is cool. This guitar is going to be up for sale very soon, and it's going to be like you're going to be shocked at how inexpensive this guitar is going to be.
Yep.
So anyway, I got it all finished up and today, and it's fun, right, Ryan?
It is very fun. I played it. It feeds back when you want it to, and you can turn it.
It
down.
Like the
Yeah.
drop of a hat, it
Yeah.
feeds back.
Yeah,
It was
it's very
hilarious.
and it can sound very acoustic too,
Mm-hmm.
because it is a hollow body. It's just a thinner body.
Yeah,
What size is this acoustic?
it's an OM.
OM.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it's a big guitar, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Bad Joke Gaming is here. Pete's Drunk is here. I think Ben Duncan is floating around. Yeah, there's Ben. Priestley California Customs says beautiful. Sean Emenheiser says hi to BJG. Who's BJG? Bad Joke Game. Okay. Mike Beckloff is like, oh boy, here we go. Yeah, Mike knows what's up with. I should just send this to Mike and just send him a bill.
Yeah. Pay me what you think it's worth, Mike. We used to do that shoveling sidewalks because they would always pay us more than we thought.
Oh yeah,
should be.
Yeah. I really should just do that. I should just box it up and
Block me. I don't care.
Doing the chins off.
Doing
to
the
you.
chins off. Yeah.
Well, so Brian, are you ready to show off your your PRS style guitar since I didn't make one?
You betcha.
All right. I guess I have to get it. It's
Yeah, I
kind of
think so.
out of the. So people have been waiting to see this bad dude.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's mystery blue, or whatever you want to call it. I was calling it Pacific earlier.
Pacific Blue. I love that TV show.
You told me it was a terrible t-shirt.
Oh, I still loved it.
So yeah, this is great, man. Mahogany body, maple top, rosewood fingerboard. I did with the blocks.
Did you do blocks on your other one?
tuners.
You didn't do blocks.
No, I
on your
did
other
not.
one.
No.
Okay. So this guitar is the antithesis of that guitar, except it's the same shape.
Yeah, and they both have humbuckers.
And they both have humbuckers.
And I gotta see if I can get these in the. These are Dylan pickups. I can
Oh,
never
yeah,
know which
you have
ones
to-
they are. And they, I don't know if I can see the.
So there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, you can kind of make it out. Angle it. Yeah, Chris is going to
There
get
you
it
go.
in there.
That's better.
Tell me when.
Okay, there you
Yeah,
go,
now
Chris. Now
move
kind
it a
of,
little
yeah, move
bit.
the neck back towards us a little bit. There you go. Nope, a little forward, I mean.
Yeah, so that's
There we go.
laser
There we
etched.
go. Good. Yeah, that's looking good.
I think that's his Paisley number 3, if I
Mhm.
remember correctly. Yeah, very cool pickups, and plugged it in. That sounds great.
So everybody's
Nice,
saying that
great.
they dig the new logo. I think they're talking about the new TTG logo, and that we love the new
Yeah.
logo too. I'm glad you guys
Yeah,
like
it's
it.
on that guitar we just did.
Ben Duncan says, "Sheesh." Mike Beckloff says, "Wow, nice, great blue and flame." Pete Strunk says, "She's a beaut. Bad joke gaming. Very nice flame." Dan says, "Brian, you are a really cool guy, and I think the blue is a terrific idea."
It's green without the
Yeah,
yellow.
it's
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Right.
yeah.
Mike Beckloff actually has a guitar with the new logo, and he likes the new. I love the new logo.
It is
Yeah.
cool. It's very cool. It's on that one.
All right, Brian. So tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about this is a great looking instrument.
Yeah, it's a great guitar. I did the PRS style wraparound, stop tail bridge.
Oh, hold on a minute.
Oh,
Okay,
there.
there
Now
we
you
go.
can hear it better.
Yeah, it was. You're choking the tone.
Uh-huh.
Right. But yeah, it was a really kind of a cool class because it was really just us one-on-one with Chris.
Yeah,
And
and because the other guy, I know his name.
Mhm.
Let's just call him the other guy right now. Is the new guy. I didn't beat him up too much, so I only had one
That's
one
right.
person to beat on verbally.
That's
And-
all right. I made
and it
up
was
for you. I
Brian.
beat on him pretty good.
Yeah.
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 So and that's not true, but we had a good time.
Yeah, it was fun. Really fun.
I like every time Brian's in class, whether he's helping or
Well,
doing the class. So yeah,
appreciate that.
that's always good.
So Brian, you went with a block inlay, which you cannot get from PRS. So that's a neat thing. You got Dylan's really cool,
cool.
engraved humbucker covers and the reach around bridge.
Yep.
You went with a blue. Did I say reach around?
You
Because
did.
I didn't mean to say it, but okay.
Give it the old reach.
The old reach around. Okay, and then what do you call this blue?
I was calling it Pacific Blue, actually. That's what it was called, but I kind of like Mystery Blue too. So
Okay.
I don't know.
And then I can't help but notice, what's the big idea with the you guys got stuff engraved on the backs of your
I don't know. I don't think it shows up
I don't
on
know if
camera.
it'll show up.
That's
It was,
cool, though.
5280 Luthery Workshop, March 2025.
that's cool. I like that. I'm glad you did that, Chris.
Great.
That's
Yeah,
really
I'm gonna
cool.
Try and do more of that kind of
Try
thing in the
to make it up.
future.
Yeah, it's black on black. So
It's
kinda
black
hard
on
to
black. I
pick out.
didn't have any black plastic. I thought I did.
I think
when
that's a cool,
designed it.
subtle
And
thing.
then I
for
went. And then I
this.
went. I'll try it on the matte black.
I like
stuff
that.
It looks
and see
really
if
good.
It's pretty cool. It doesn't
Yeah.
jump out at you, but if
Can
you
we do
wanna
that
see
on
it, you
on
can see it.
TTG guitars? Do you think?
Oh yeah.
I don't see why we couldn't. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, black on black. Yeah.
Yeah, and veal binding.
How hard was to do the real binding? Mike Beckloff wants to know.
You know, Mike,
Super
it's
hard.
no, it's not that hard. It's actually it's easier than doing plastic binding or
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah, there's a
than
little bit of
reveal binding.
masking and
Yeah.
a couple of little razor blade tricks.
Yeah, and
It's
then
not hard.
this pocket I did different than the last time, and different than what Paul did.
Because the PRS instruments are,
Yeah, they
there's-
do them different.
I'm sure there's a rhyme or reason to what they're doing, but it's different. I can't figure it out.
Yeah, it's all over the road.
Ben says, "Hey, you could fill it with some gold paint." He didn't really say it like that. He said you could fill it with gold paint if you're feeling froggy, Pop.
The problem is getting the excess gold off it without scratching up the plastic.
Oh
right.
yeah.
Yeah, filling
Yeah.
stuff is hard.
You could get a crayon and mash it in
You
there,
could-
and
you could do it
yeah.
that way,
But
yeah,
it's pretty
yeah.
cool. I'm gonna
Ben says no. He said it with the accent.
debut it at band practice tomorrow and see what the fellas.
Oh,
think.
that's a bold move to take a guitar that just got born.
I ain't scared.
I know, yeah. So what else did I want to? There was something else I wanted to talk about with this, and I can't remember what it was. Hold on a minute. There we
That's
go.
better,
Okay. And then you've got your kind of stylistic logo headstock thing, which you put on all your guitars.
All my guitars.
That which is pretty neat, I think.
Yep.
Chris, what did you what do you think of the PRS workshop? And
Well, I
will
really
you
like it.
lament it if it goes away?
Yeah, I will lament it. I really like it. We talked a little bit. Brian's done the Les Paul class. He's been here for other Les Paul
A
classes.
bunch of them,
I
yeah.
just won't
For
go
whatever
away.
reason, the
We don't want you
PRS
to go away.
is just a little bit easier. And one of the things I think we saved probably at least an hour worth of wiring today
Mm,
because Les Paul has just that
Extra.
much more stuff.
yeah.
And long wire races and chases and stuff like that.
Yeah, you got switch up here.
Mhm.
Four
Yeah, you got four
knobs,
knobs,
Mhm.
two tones.
two
two volume.
tones. Yeah, it's fairly and this is pretty easy to wire. So that's a thing. The top is fairly easy to sand.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not bad.
just a little bit hard. It's just a little bit easier than a Les Paul.
Okay.
And I really dig them.
Yeah.
I'm not super familiar with PRS, but
And
I like
this
some
isn't
of
going to
these.
fool anybody. This is, yeah. I mean,
No, I don't
it's
think
really
anything that
close
we've
to.
ever built is going to fool anybody.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop it from being really cool and really fun to do.
And when I say it's not going to fool anybody, what I mean is, I don't think Paul Reed Smith's going to care if we make something that's pretty close to it. It's a really cool carved top guitar. That's super excellent.
Yeah.
Yes, Sean, it does have a 3-way switch. Ben asks, and I don't know the answer to this, is there a little metallic flake in the blue or is it just in the cam?
No,
Just
it's
a
It's a candy blue.
There is actually a metallic flake in the back of the guitar.
Is there one
I believe
floating in
is.
there?
Yes,
Okay.
there's one
I want my
speckle.
money back.
Yeah, one
Uh-huh.
speckle of silver. That's because you're a rock star, Brian.
Lauren
Well,
Court
good
says
for
that
that.
he loves the blue. And hey to everyone. Hi, Lauren.
Thanks,
How are you,
Lauren.
sir? Yes, it's got a tone flake in the back. Well, Brian, what was your this is your second one of this exact workshop. What was your favorite bit of this? Besides hanging out with Chris all week.
Yeah, that was fun.
I
Drinking tequila with you
Nice.
guys. Wednesday was,
Did you learn anything different that you didn't learn the first time?
I always do. I did, and I can't remember what it was. I was saying it like the second day.
Oh yeah.
I learned something today. I can't remember what it
Yeah.
was, but yeah. I mean, hanging out with you guys that have built thousands of guitars, and I've built
Uh-huh.
about 10 now. Yeah,
Yeah.
learning stuff all the time.
Chris and I were talking the other day, and he said, it's one thing to say, how long have you been building guitars? And then you say like any number of years. It's a whole nother thing to say, I think Chris's answer is about 800.
Yeah. How long have you been building
Yeah.
guitars? About 800.
About 800.
Yeah,
Yeah,
me-
because it's
yeah.
not how long, it's
Well,
how many.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then I follow that up with me and another guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's a
Oh,
real number.
it's a
Yeah,
bunch.
not- yeah, me in a factory.
Mm-hmm.
It's me and another guy. 800. Yeah.
Graphite and Cigars asks, would it have been cool to have micro coil split switches? As a matter of fact, we have done that in
Uh-huh.
the very last, not this workshop, but the previous PRS workshop. We did that on a guys.
Yeah, there were several guys that
Uh-huh.
well, you can either do it on micro switches or you can do it on pull push knobs.
Mhm.
We've done both.
I have
Yeah,
a
there's-
PRS with
There's
the full
several
push.
different ways to pull push or
Yeah.
split coils on these.
But I personally don't like splitting coils, so I
yeah. So
didn't
if you
do it.
don't, and one of the neat things was this thing was a breeze to wire, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Even
Even
with
though-
our little
yeah.
snafu.
Yeah, but yeah,
But it was which wasn't really a snafu.
no, it was,
But anyway, yeah, they're pretty easy to wire up. So which I like.
but this paint job is so cool.
It's pretty
Yeah,
rad.
It is nice.
Dan says he did the push pull on his.
Mhm.
Mike Beckloff says, when's the next PRS workshop? There really isn't one scheduled, but I think here's what's going to happen, Mike. Joy is going to contact David Robinson and his sons, and it's going to be an all father-son week.
Oh,
The Robinsons and the Beckloffs together again.
you hear that, Ben? You might have to come out.
Yeah.
You come out and help.
Sandra, I'm gonna butcher your last name because I have to go with the West Texas high school PE coach. Sandra Pokorny says that's really pretty. Do you know who Sandra Pokorny is? Okay, all right. Yes, Sean, this is a version of the 73 finish that we use for workshops.
Yeah,
Isn't that right, Chris?
Yeah, I put a little more gloss in these. Paul, who you'll meet here in a minute, wanted, I don't know that he wanted more gloss, but I think he wanted more gloss.
Okay.
He
Talked about, is there a chance of doing some gloss? I want to learn about wet sanding and buffing. And I said, no, but as I was, we'd have died if we had to do, there's no way. But
another day
I thought, let's do a little more. Let's do a little more shine on these.
Speaking of Paul, let's see if we can get Paul up here with his
do it.
guitar.
Thanks,
Y'all
guys.
want to?
Thanks for having me again.
Brian, thanks for coming in. Now you're going to be hanging out. What's your plan next week? Are we building SGs?
I'm going to take a couple days off.
Yeah, me too. Chris and I have an appointment at Maximum Guitar Works on Monday. So
Neck over there is one we'll be building, and you've been working. You got 3 or 4 in the works.
we got a bunch. Yeah,
really trying to develop the curriculum for the upcoming classes because it's a lot of work.
Put it on the wall.
It's a real
It's a light
buttload.
too.
Yeah, it is. Thanks, guys.
Come on, P-Dog. Come on up, man.
Sorry, I take you on the phone. Oh no, you're good.
All right, Paul. Now, is it you're just a truss rod cover and a back plate away, huh?
Yeah,
More
Good
or less.
deal.
Yeah, a couple of
Fine
minor
tuning,
tweaks, but yeah.
Now, so Paul, this is your first time here, but I can tell by your outfit that you've been watching my dumb videos for a long, long time.
Yes.
If you get a dumb outfit, you can be a cowboy too. No,
Paul is the name that a lot of people tell everybody your full name and where you're from.
All right. Paul Goslin. I am from Carmel, Indiana, which is a northern suburb of Indianapolis.
Speedy Paul.
so Paul, I know that Paul has been hanging out with us on YouTube for a long, long time, and I can tell. But Paul's shirt is so vintage that it's from before we had a Teespring. It's before we moved into this shop.
Yeah, that's Gray
Yeah.
Street.
Yeah. So Paul, I am glad that you are finally here, and tell us what you made. It looks like $100 million.
All right. Well, obviously, Paul Reed Smith style guitar. Do we want to just go tip the butt?
Yeah, that's the way people like it.
Yeah. All right. So, as you can.
No, just tell them about the guitar, Paul.
Actually, Paul, while you're sorting it out, I'm gonna take some questions from the gallery here. Sandra, I guess is a YouTube phenomenon too. So has had a video out today. I'll have to check that out. Stinky Whizzle Teats. Ever done a partial coil tap? It's a cool trick utilized by PRS. A partial tap gives the single coil sound, but not as quiet as your average coil tap. Yes. And okay. So a coil tap and splitting the coils on a pickup is, as you know, my friend, 2 very different things. We get pickups all the time from Dylan that have an overwound coil that you can split so that you don't get like a kind of a puny sound. And one of my very favoriteest pickups in the entire world is an overwound telly pickup that actually has a split coil. So yes, we have. Ben says something really cool about the blue one and the red guitar for this workshop. Ben, the guitars for this workshop, they turned out really good. Didn't they, Paul? Yeah. Okay, you're up, Paul. Ready, go.
All right. So on the headstock, we've got the Hipshot open gear locking tuners, which are a favorite of the shop.
They are.
For the fretboard, the inlays, we'll have to get it a little closer.
Oh, that's right. You did custom inlay.
Yep. So we have abalone dot inlays with a ring of brass around each one of them. Dark cherry burst finish. We have DiMarzio 36th 36th anniversary PAFs.
Okay. Oh, so you did not go with the Super D and the bridge.
No, I did not.
I misunderstood you. Okay.
Done that before in other guitars.
Okay.
But I like these. They get dirty when you want them to get dirty, and they clean up really nice.
I think that that particular brand of pickup is known for kind of aggressive sounding names, and people kind of shy away from it because of I don't want to have a really distorted pickup. But the fact is that they're not particularly distorted, as you know. Okay. Anyway, go ahead.
So Brian went with the fixed bridge. I went with the tremolo bar.
Now, Daryl wants to know what kind of tremolo that is.
That is a Hipshot Contour, I believe.
It is, yeah, and it is the far and away the one to go with, I think. Chris, I don't know if you have any experience with the Man 6-point tremolo. I have it on mine.
Okay.
That Bobby Dale gave me.
Oh, okay.
And I
I'd like
think
to play around with it.
Yeah, I think the Hipshot is. Well, I think the Hipshot is still it's a next level bridge.
Does
I
it
really
float
Yeah.
like a Fender? I didn't
I
Yeah,
can. It will. We're setting it up to float. It's not floating right now.
It's sinking.
And then it also has a 5-way switch in it, so you can.
Hold on a second. Whoa.
Well-
Whoa, it's a 4-way with one at the end.
Yeah.
If you want to, whatever works.
Yeah.
I had a 3-way last night.
Yeah.
A couple of no-shows.
Yeah,
but I had fun.
it's a classic.
couple
I still had a pretty good time.
couple of guys are though asking about like splitting coils and things, and so with the 5-way switch, you get humbucker. You can get your bridge humbucker, you can get your neck humbucker. You can get them mixed together, and then you can get a mixture of the full humbucker mixed with half of that one.
Oh wow!
And then you can also split that one, and all on the 5-way switch.
Well, that's a pretty neat. I would have thought it was this one, both of them, or split here and split there. But this is
Yeah, there's some combinations there, and they're actually
That's
pretty
neat.
neat. Pretty usable sounds. So it does all the same stuff as a 3-way switch.
okay.
And then there's a couple of bonus switch.
Talk about those
Positions.
groovy dot inlays you did.
Yeah, do talk about the groovy dot inlays, and then remind me a lot of people want to know about your burst. So
sorry.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
In terms of the construction, so
Yep.
it's your typical quarter dot abalone, inlay. But then if you get, I believe it's 9/32 brass tubing, you can cut it to size, and those will fit in just almost perfectly. You have to widen them just a tad, but then you can get the dot inside of that, and then it's just a matter of drilling a hole, getting both pieces in the hole, and then filing it down.
I got to tell you, I am not disappointed that I missed that particular part.
I
of
didn't
the-
say this, but if Matt was here, you wouldn't have gotten to do that. And
That
that's
took a while.
the absolute truth.
No, I actually, because there was only you, I'm like, we have time to
That
do
made-
it. So
and,
yeah,
and the other thing was, if there were 4 guys, you wouldn't have gotten to do it.
we wouldn't have had time.
Yeah, because it did take longer than I thought it was going to take. Because the board was already radiused.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't have frets in it yet, but the board was already radiused with a plec machine, so it was perfect.
Yeah.
You don't want to mess that up, and so we couldn't really use a whole lot of power tools to get rid of the brass. We had to use
all hand.
old-fashioned elbow grease.
Yeah.
And so it took a minute longer than it should have.
There are probably ways to do it. Obviously, have the board radius after the inlays in would have been a
Yeah,
great way to do it.
yeah,
But yeah,
I think there's a
I really like that look though. That's a cool.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
cool feature.
And I think if I can ever beg you to let me do it again,
Mhm.
I think there's a way to speed it up where I could get the brass and the dots fixed at home, so then it's a little easier to lay in.
I think that if you and I were talking about the essential neck building workshop, that would be a great time to do it because we do the inlay and then radius the board. At which point, like Chris was
Yeah.
saying, if you had power, it goes quick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we really snuck up on it, and and the brass was, we were filing off an 1/8 inch of brass above the
That's a lot.
fingertip.
Yeah.
That's a lot of brass.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
anyway,
What?
It
Okay.
turned out great.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are very complimentary of your burst. Let's talk a little bit about that, you two guys, and I'm gonna keep reading here.
Yeah. So you have a little bit of experience with paint.
Some.
Some.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you wanted well, and you said some things, and I said, okay, I'm going to make you do all of it, and you did all of it.
So you did your own burst.
Yep.
I
It
did.
looks great.
But with a lot of help from Chris.
Well,
Okay.
so I helped him set the gun up and kind of gave him some pointers and might have shot, a corner or a little bit here and there. But for the most part, 90% you did. And then we, did some unmasking. There was a whole lot of masking tricks and did a similar color in the back and neck too. So I don't even know that you've shown the back.
I haven't.
But it's,
We should show that.
it's got a little bit of a similar color.
Mhm.
To
So you
the-
guys
to the top.
sprayed some color.
Yeah, we sprayed a bunch of color and we sprayed a bunch of, So it's got, and it's, to me, it's very PRS-esque,
I
as
Yeah.
far as
Yeah,
far
it
as the
is.
back and sides and the top and everything.
and
Yeah.
Daryl, it does have reveal binding. You did all the reveal binding, Paul. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah,
It
that's
does
a
have
fun
the-
trick, isn't it?
Yeah, that was surprising, much easier than I thought it
Uh-huh.
would be.
That's why I think that's the way they do it, is because it's fairly easy. And if you had, another 50 to do before lunch, you'd get really, really good at it.
I think it's not only just easy though; it's really neat.
Well,
It
yeah,
is
well,
neat.
yeah,
Like-
it's neat, but everybody thinks, well, that must be really hard.
Yeah.
And it's not.
I think that, Chris, you and I have built Les Pauls with reveal binding,
Uh-huh.
faux binding, whatever you want to call it.
Uh-huh.
I didn't think I was going to like them as much as I do. I that's my new.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a plastic binding guy.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
it, but yeah, it doesn't. I'm not. Now I'm like, yeah, I think reveal binding is just as neat,
Mhm.
if not
Yeah.
neater.
It's
Yeah.
definitely neat because you've got that solid piece of maple.
Mhm.
Whereas a lot of
Yeah, you paid for all this maple, right?
right.
Yeah.
So
And
show it off.
there's no hiding a veneer.
That's right.
Right.
Now the SE guitars actually they had veneer, so you could see that.
Follow the flame.
Yeah. So you could tell on the edge,
Mhm.
and nobody thinks that
And it's
because
not
the
a big
SEs
deal.
aren't super expensive guitars. So what they did was they put a regular maple top and then a veneer on top, and which is fine, but you get this crazy flame that doesn't go through the side. Again, no one thinks that it's going to be real, flame
Yeah,
maple.
so you have flame maple binding.
Yeah. But on yours, you have a 3/4 inch top that's a real live, honest to God carved top flame maple top, and it's got the binding to prove it. So yeah,
Right.
that's really cool.
Yeah, to anyone who's like apprehensive about trying to do their own finish, don't be. Chris is a great teacher. He walked me right through how to do it, and if I can do it, you can do it.
Absolutely, man. Now people are asking, is it copper on the back?
Copper.
Color?
Copper color, or has it got a candy color on the
It's
back?
more of
right?
a red mahogany, I think.
Okay.
I would call it sienna. Yeah, we custom mixed the color. There's a little amber in it. There's a little brown and a little red.
Like that.
So it's got a kind of a sienna, orangey, browny thing going on. It's not cherry burst.
No,
No,
it's not.
It's not a traditional Texas toast color on any of it.
No,
It's really cool.
but Chris, I really dig it. I think we should maybe
I like,
consider.
I like that the neck is slightly darker. It's closing in on kind of that rosewood look. It's really neat.
Hey Brian, hand me that Challenger that's closest to us in the rack there. Yeah, I think that one would be really neat with the similar color scheme. What do you think, Chris?
Yep.
Guys, what do you think? Should we do this guitar with the same color that Paul did on his? This Challenger here. It's got a crazy maple top, but it's got this streak in it. And part of me says paint it black.
Oh, there was talk of doing that one in blue too, because
Yeah.
as you're
Color.
spraying, and this happened with Brian's when we were talking about it. As you start spraying blue, it looks gray
Mhm.
before it looks blue.
So I don't know. I mean, the streak might be might be lame, and it might need to get painted over. But I really like the way Paul's turned out, and yeah. So I for some reason or other that one is like maybe we should do this color. I don't know, Chris. I'm going to let you decide. But yeah.
But yeah, this looks really great.
Ben says he's going to key my car if we paint that top. Well, what am I supposed to do, Ben? Like put an oil finish on it? I mean,
Paint the top. We're not painting it black.
yeah.
Damn it, Ben.
Doc says the streak looks awesome. It's got some wabi sabi in it. You know, and you never know until you carve the top if you're going to get a mineral streak like that, and it just sort
we've
of
seen
happens.
that a lot. So
Yeah. Sean says celebrate the streak.
Sounds like a race.
I don't know. Now, you know, Paul, one of the cool things about these shops and coming out here is a lot of the guitars have meaning. Like, it's not just I built this guitar, ain't it cool? That's a real thing. But a lot of guys have there's a reason that they came out, and there's something they wanted to accomplish when they got here. Now, you may not know it, but I actually saw something. Why don't you tell us about the meaning of what you wanted to do with this?
Sure.
I was snooping around.
So back in 1986, I was in had just finished up my first year of college, and I got interested. I had only played played acoustic guitars up to that point, and I went into this guitar repair shop in Charleston, West Virginia, and struck up a friendship with a guy named Early Vermillion. Fantastic guy. Very, a character, had all kinds of spoken all kinds of colloquialisms, but very nice. Was very giving of his time and his talent, and he knew that I wanted to build a guitar, and so he kind of, he sold me a neck and a body. It was an old Fender Duosonic neck and body, and he told me what to go do with it. And I'd go home, go to my garage, work on it, bring it back, and he'd inspect it and look at it, and eventually, as I never went away, I kept coming back. He eventually, allowed me to start working in his shop.
Mm-hmm.
And so anytime I was home from college, I would be in that workshop just because it was my happy place. But life goes on, careers, 33 years of careers, you have kids, Boy Scout, trips, and hobbies fall by the wayside. And I'm now at a later point in my life where I wanted to rekindle that hobby. And as I was preparing to come out here back in December, I called West Virginia just to touch base with Early because I hadn't talked with him in a while, and found out that he was passing. And so I talked to his granddaughter, and he did pass in December. And so, he was the guy who first kindled my love of guitar building. And so I'm going to dedicate this guitar to him. So there's on one of the control plate, on the tremolo control plate, there's going to be a message that just says, built in memory of Early Vermillion, 1945 to 2024.
No, that's right here, right? I'm going to see if you guys can. There you go. There you go, right there.
That's nice, Paul.
That's a very cool sentiment, Paul. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another Paul sent us a super chat all the way from jolly old England. And he says, ad free, loving the chat. And this week's makes Mile House Studios is in the house. So it's like 1 o'clock in the morning over there. He says he's almost too drunk to type, but thanks for tuning in. He has a really cool video on a cool couple of SGs that he's working on, and I watched that today, and it was really excellent. So yeah, I'm glad that he's here. That's very neat. Very cool. Graphite and Cigars, Dastardly Dave say, nice tribute. So does Zed, Black Dog Sheep. I think it's a really cool thing. One of the cool things about making your own something and not just going to the shop and buying it is you get to, it's a very visceral experience, and you get to have your own, you can attach lots of meanings to it. And I think it's really cool that the meaning that you've attached to this one. So very, very well done, sir.
So what was one of your favorite parts of the week?
Well,
Besides eating Dave's hot chicken.
That's always a good part of the week. I came out, I really wanted to learn more about, the setup and, nuts and things like that.
Uh-huh.
So
do you feel like you did some of that?
I feel like I've done some of that. I got a lot more to do, and we're getting kind of rushed here on that portion of it.
That's the usual Friday, unfortunately.
But I think the finishing, yesterday was just dramatic. When we worked on the finishes,
Mm-hmm.
so I love that. I can't say I love the sanding, but
come on.
But
nobody loves sanding.
But I appreciated kind of the guidance on that. Learning that, and then I realized just how much nuance there is in.
Oh crap!
I realize how much nuance there is in fretwork, and I got a long way to go there. But it felt good to be surrounded by both Chris and Nat, who are much more experienced with this and could. It's one thing to read this stuff in a book of how to do it. It's another thing to do it side by side with someone who can say, no, adjust it just this way. Because there are like little tips and tricks that you just can't get out of a book when you come to a workshop like this.
Milehouse Studio sent us a super chat, 20 quid.
20 quid.
I think that's what they call it over there. He said, I'll get out there for a course next year, if anything, just to taste Doc's cooking. Well, don't come for Doc's cooking.
No.
Yeah, but Jim will be here. Yeah, and no. No, Doc does a good job too. Yeah, you got to go to Canada. Yeah, you'd be in the wrong continent you'd be in the right continent, wrong country. Yeah. So we would love it if you came over, my friend, and just let me know when you want to come, and we'd love to have you. So, Paul, what we keep getting interrupted by like tools going off and stuff. So where were we here, Senor?
Well,
Hold on,
fretwork. I think we talked about fretwork.
Hold on. You're oh, there we go. Okay, go ahead.
Couldn't hear you.
So I'll just recap. So I found all the fretwork work good, because there's only so much that you can learn out of a book. And a lot of it's just touch and feel, and I still have to develop some of that, but it was important to have you and Chris nearby, so you guys could say, no, you're not doing this quite right.
They feel pretty good.
They passed the Phil
really
McKnight stocking test. Good.
Yeah, and I think so much of stuff like that is process, and learning a process, doing the process, trusting the process.
Yeah.
It's like today, you're like, well, what am I looking for? As far as like scuffing back the frets. Yeah. Well, we're at 800 grit sandpaper. You're not going to see anything. You can't see that, but just trust the process and do it, and it'll be good. And sure enough, they are. But you have to do a bunch, and you have to have somebody that tells you, don't worry, just wait.
Sometimes
it'll
it's
be good. In the end, keep going, trust the process.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I mean, you guys have put together a fabulous schedule, because I'm amazed that we got as much work done in a week that we did.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it. Yeah.
Yeah, this guitar really is probably 30 minutes away from being done right now.
You guys better get back.
Probably an hour. But,
Paul.
For me, 10 minutes. But I mean, really, yeah, it's really, really, really close to being everything it can be. We have a few little steps to do, and then it'll be good to go. And
Chris, are you still having a lot of fun with these workshops? I think that it's important.
I still really enjoy the workshop. It's funny because Friday, as much fun as it is to see all the finished guitars, I prance around and like pace,
like cock of the lot.
No, like
he's like nervous.
Yeah, nervous and hoping, because until everybody is
wait.
done.
But you said you prance around.
Well,
pace.
No, I pace.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. This is fabulous.
It is fabulous.
Yeah. Look at your guitar now. No,
I thought you were going some other. Okay, all right, okay, yeah.
But no, I pace, and I find myself,
You're like a shark. Like, I mean, you are. You're like, okay, let's get. Yeah.
And I just
by is like, it's too steep.
Yeah.
He just keeps going.
Well, yeah, kind of, yeah. And I'll I don't want anybody to feel like they're being left out. So I'll be like, how's it going over there, Paul? Hey, Brian. Yeah. How's it going? Yeah. And it just, until we get about to hear, it's always a little nerve wracking. And at least for me. And so, yeah, they're fun, but they get more intense every day.
Oh yeah.
So.
All right. Well, I still have a lot of fun with these classes. This one was especially fun for me because I didn't have to do anything. Yeah,
a day and a half.
No, but you guys did a tremendous job. The guitars look phenomenal.
You know,
Yeah, I don't know what to say.
the extracurricular stuff has been great. too.
Oh yeah, that's right. There was a lot of that.
Yeah.
Wasn't
How
there?
about how much? Yeah, I already messed it up.
Well, I mean,
How
you know,
much debauchery was
Yeah,
there
yeah,
this week?
I don't think it was that bad.
How debauched are you?
I'm not that debauched, but you know what was great is there's always this talk about the brotherhood,
Mhm.
or I guess it's a sisterhood. Now that we've had some female,
It's a
folks
whole.
come
It's
through.
a whole.
Well, yeah, it's a whole.
We're just in the
yeah.
hood now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're in the
It's a
hood.
group. It's the hood.
But people are amazingly welcome. Like I think it's Paul Hall was talking about coming out here,
Paul's just talking about how he's coming out later this year.
right?
Yeah,
And
Paul got to do all that stuff. So
Mhm.
but he was
yeah.
like, talking about like, these expensive plane tickets, and folks were saying, hey, we'll make it worth your while.
Mhm.
I tell you, just from my experience this week, they will make it worth your while.
Yeah. I think Paul's staying at our house next time. I don't know. No, I know. I don't know. Like, yeah. Well, we'll find out when Paul shows up. Yeah. So traditionally, we like to ask everybody, what was your favorite part?
You already
We
told us
cover
about
that. What was, that kind of stuff. And then who do you want to say hi to back home?
So I would love to say hi to my lovely wife, Susan, who encouraged me to do this because I've been putting it off for years.
Good job, Susan.
Thanks for letting us have Paul all week.
And interesting thing about Susan is she's also a romance writer. So I know that is
Whoa, like a romance
That's right, we talked
novelist?
about that, and I said I got a lot of ideas. Let me know if she needs any.
So I know that is not what our target audience here probably reads, but your wives probably do. So if your wives like spicy small town romances, check out Liza Jonathan. That's her pen name.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
So I would say
You
shout
ever,
out.
you ever read any of them,
I
Joy?
haven't, but that's the first, author plug we've had.
It is one of, if not the first romance novelist. Yeah.
The other
Is there a limit on the number of times that she can use the word loins in one of those books?
No, I think you can do it as much as you want.
the other
Throbbing.
folks that I would shout out to is if anyone from Early Vermilion's family ever sees this video, either now or later on as it's saved on YouTube. I wouldn't be here if Early hadn't kind of encouraged me along the way. So he was a special guy. So I already miss him. I know you guys miss him. So thank you very much.
That's cool, man. Thank you, Paul, and thanks for being out here with us. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this video up so Paul can finish his guitar. But anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you for some kind of video this weekend, and it's good to be back in town. It's good to be back in the shop, and I don't know. We got anything, Chris?
No, I think that's
How about
it.
a Texas toast?
Oh yeah, how about a Texas toast?
Yeah, yeah.
This was Chris's great idea. Clinky, you don't have, yeah.
No, I don't get to drink yet.
All right, I'm out of beer, so it's time to be done. Guys, have a great weekend, and we will talk to you next time.
Good. Excellent.
All right.